Hi everyone, it's AC here, and happy Australia Day, everyone. And we're doing, and this is episode 16 of the Heine Homeboys, and this is the second episode of 2023, and this is youth pastor from Heartland Church, Jeremiah Ross.
Yep, he was our youth pastor. He was the 6th through 8th grade middle school pastor. We were in 8th grade and he started, and we've known him for like 6-7 years.
About 6 years. Jeremiah spoke actually before. It was like a few months before he joined. He spoke on Wednesday, September 21st of 2016, with the middle school and some of high school at the time, and little did we know you'd be the second youth pastor, and now you're the only youth pastor since September of last year.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. So tell everyone about yourself if they don't already know who you are.
Yeah, so my name, like they said, is Jeremiah. I'm the youth pastor here at Heartland. I've been here for 6 years. This January made 6 years for me and my family. Love what I do. I love being here. I have a wonderful wife. Her name is Kirsten, and I've got 3 wonderful boys, Elias, Ezra, and John August, who will probably be watching this video later on YouTube because they love YouTube and they were excited to hear that their dad was going to be on it.
Yeah, they'll probably watch.
So if we get a lot of views, we like 1,000 views.
It might be them rewatching it.
It's probably the kids watching like 5 times or 10 times. That's fine though. They want to know about us, and they want to see their dad on Heine Homeboys. That's cool though for them.
They really just want to see the Heine Homeboys.
Oh, yeah, that's more like it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And plus I see the older two on we see the older two on Wednesdays. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they'll love it for sure, man. Yeah.
So what would you say your greatest challenge as a youth pastor is?
Oh man, greatest challenge as a youth pastor. Youth ministry, I mean, it's an amazing thing that you get to do, getting to invest in kids' lives and be a part of kind of figuring out who they are and their identity. But with that, it comes challenges. There are tough things that you get to walk through with teens during those times, and walking through life with them, and kids go through identity crisis, they go through traumatic events, and they go through struggles and temptations, and so walking through that with them, sometimes it can be really difficult.
Yeah.
And then kind of making sure that you stay grounded in the Word, grounded in who you are in Christ during that, so that you can be a strong light to them during that time.
Yeah,
that's good. So when was your first mission trip?
My first mission trip. So I grew up in a small church. We probably had about 115, 120 people, and as far as I know, the church had never done a mission trip before. We had missionaries come in that would speak, but we had never done one before. And one Sunday evening, I believe it was an evening, I could be wrong about that, we watched a video on missionaries, and this couple from Tombstone, Arizona came on, and my dad, he was the youth pastor at the time. He was a part-time youth pastor, and you know, he would tell you that he just heard the voice from the Lord kind of tell him that he needed to go and serve there. And so I got to be a part of that first trip to Tombstone, Arizona, getting to go. We prayed over the city. We went across the border into Mexico and worked at an orphanage there for several days. And my first experience of getting to go and serve the Lord, and ever since then it's been a passion of mine to go and serve.
Yeah.
How old were you at the time?
I was in 8th grade.
Okay. So that would be 2004 2004, okay.
So what would you say is the biggest difference between when you started as youth pastor? What was that, 2011? Where did you start becoming youth pastor?
So
what's the biggest difference when you started, whatever, 2010, 2011 to 2023?
I'm older.
Yes,
and wiser.
So I started in youth ministry, believe it or not, about 4 months after I graduated high school. I started as an intern. I got to serve alongside a great youth pastor. His name was Paul Sizemore at First Baptist Church, New Albany, and he was patient enough and kind enough to walk alongside and help me. And so At that time, I was young, I was excited, I was passionate about youth ministry, and had no idea what I was doing. But it was wonderful. I made a lot of great connections there. Relationships were built, and through that time, going back from here or from there to here, the Lord has been gracious to keep me in youth ministry. But I think I'm a little wiser now. There are things that I look back on, and you can kind of laugh about yourself whenever you were younger. That you had energy, you had the passion there, but your mind wasn't always caught up with that passion.
Yeah. So what made you and the family move to Paducah in 2017?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. So if you don't know, before I came here from 2013 to 2016, I served at a church in Lucedale, Mississippi, and so being in ministry and getting to serve, you go through different circumstances, and so I was going through a time where I felt like I needed some advice, and so I called a good friend of mine that I'd met here a few years before, Dax Hughes, and I just asked him, if you could give me some advice, and so he spent several weeks kind of mentoring and talking with me and helping me grow and learn from this. And it was after that, just shortly after that, whenever Heartland decided to start looking for a second youth pastor, and the relationship that kind of formed between me and him during that time kind of opened up the door for the church to pursue me.
Yeah, and it was the year before you joined. It was like January 2016. Glenn was doing like middle school Sunday school during first service, and then second service for middle school, and at Heartland. Then same with high school, the other way around. So he did by himself, and with the assistance of like guys like Jason Merrow and Steve Green for a good year so until you joined. Mm-hmm. Yep. So that was probably when God was calling your Glenn and the other pastors to say, Jeremiah would be a good fit to it, because father and son bond. That's great, though.
It was, yeah. I mean, it was really exciting. It was a little scary too. You kind of go from one position where people know you, and I've served there for several years, and then I remember being a little nervous about coming here. One, because it's a larger church than what I was at, but then also people had known my dad for years before me, and it's always kind of a little bit of a fear when you're in the same profession as your dad too. How do I make my own identity? That you don't always want to be in your parents' shadow. And so that was a little bit of a fear before we came here, but the Lord really worked it out, and it was a blessing and a joy. The whole nearly 6 years that I got to serve alongside Dad here.
That's great, man. That's great, man. And Glenn's gonna be at Heartland for many more years to come, and maybe one of your boys could be the next youth pastor in like 10 years from now, or 15 years.
Who knows? I mean, maybe I'll be working with senior adults then. Maybe if when Glenn's 80, he may quit that or it gets too well. But who knows, man? Who knows? He loves it over there though, and they've changed the name. If you heard that, it's now the Joy Ministry. Just older youth. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. That's great for Glenn, though. It's great for the elderly people.
They're having a lot of fun.
Yeah, because Glenn's a joy, man.
Sometimes.
He can be a little.
We don't see the bad parts of Glenn. Usually, you see.
No, there's no bad parts.
He keeps it to himself, though. Or he just angry out of it. That's being a good example, though.
All right. So, if you guys have any questions for Jeremiah, let us know, and we'll look at them in just a moment. On Facebook and on YouTube too. Later on, if you have a question, I'm sure he'll answer them later on. He has a YouTube account. My next question to you is: so, did you always want to be a youth pastor, or were you going to use youth pastor as a stepping stone to be a regular pastor, like a pastor over a full church?
Yeah. So, whenever I was first called, I had a little confusion over what I wanted to be. before I actually felt the call to ministry, whenever I was a teenager, I wanted to lead worship at youth camps, like Student Life. That's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to be up there and play guitar and sing, and I thought that's kind of where the Lord was going to lead me, and I kind of felt like Him shut those doors, and I didn't feel that calling or pursuit anymore. Whenever I first felt the call to ministry, felt like God was calling me to be a pastor, I thought it was going to be on the mission field. I was confused. Like, I knew He was calling me to be a pastor, but I wasn't sure exactly where. And it took a few months in praying, and it was really talking with Paul and the head pastor at First Baptist New Albany. His name is Ricky Blythe. He's not there anymore. He serves with the Mississippi Baptist Convention, but they helped me and helped me see my calling in youth ministry.
Okay, I think we got a question, so we'll go over it real quick. See who it is. Okay, we got a question. What is your favorite place to eat locally?
My favorite place to eat locally?
Yeah.
Man, so I'm not like a one place kind of guy. Like I like to go around. So it depends. If I want a burger, I like just hamburgers.
Yep.
I love that restaurant.
I love
It's cheap.
Yeah, just get a double cheeseburger. If I want Mexican food, I like to get El Torito.
Great restaurant, man.
They have good food, and like if I want to take my wife out somewhere, we go to Cynthia's downtown.
She's watching right now.
That's our date restaurant.
I cussed in.
I probably owe her a trip to Cynthia's here soon, anyways.
Yeah.
Those are a couple, and then I like Chinese food from pretty much anywhere.
So who inspired you to start singing?
Who inspired me to start singing? So, whenever I was young, our church did children's musicals. I don't know if you've ever had to sit through a children's musical in a church before.
We participated in some.
Yeah, you enjoyed those. So I remember we did those every year, and it really wasn't much of anything. I wanted to get a part so I could be on stage and talk and all of that. But we had a worship pastor at our church, and his name is Greg Hollis. And I remember Greg one day told me, he said, I think you have a really good voice. I think you could sing. And so he started working with me. I remember the first vocal lesson he ever gave me, because it was that impromptu. He took me aside and told me that he thought I had a gift. And so he sat down on the piano and started playing through notes and had me sing. So yeah, Greg was the very first person that ever really encouraged me and made me realize that I had something to offer and something to give the Lord.
And you still do have a good voice. I think the first time I saw you, you were singing up here before you started preaching.
Yeah, good chance of that. The first time I came here was in 2012, late 2012, and I led worship. I think I came back at least one or two other times and led worship on Wednesday nights here.
Yes. So was it Christmas 2012 or Thanksgiving 2012, like November 2012? Do you remember the month?
That was leading worship. I came and sang Christmas 2015 here. And I sang over there.
I only remember that. Were we there?
We went to
maybe you weren't there. I sang "Oh Holy Night." The first of many times I've been asked to sing that song.
Yes, and he sang "Oh Holy Night" like 6 years ago and 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's time I get a new song.
Will you see in 2023?
I don't know.
Please,
I don't know.
I really want you to sing at the church choir program this year.
Yeah, maybe I will.
Because brother Brian was in the choir choir program.
Brother Brian, he has a wonderful voice.
You got Ross now. Brad,
Ethan.
You got Brian, and then
You should
a
start.
bunch of voices
You
right
should
there.
do
The staff.
You should start doing a quartet, man.
You think so?
Yes, man. Like you, Brad, or Brian, or
You, Brad.
Should we
Russ.
get like suits and stuff and kind of be like old time gospel quartet?
There you go.
yeah. That's a good idea, man. Yeah.
You'd probably sing some of the higher parts, I'm assuming.
And Ethan,
Yeah,
Ethan.
I land in that baritone to tenor range.
Yeah.
Not a bass.
Yeah. Yeah. The next question for you is going to be, so when you feel overwhelmed or unfocused, what do you do?
Music has always been a really big part. So, I mean, I've never been like diagnosed ADHD, but kind of am.
Okay.
My mind wanders a lot, and so music helps. Especially like it's funny, but like if I need to do something, like if I've got something really serious and I feel like I'm struggling, I'm overwhelmed, I really need to sit down and calm down. A lot of times I put on like an instrumental track, and a lot of times it's the Shire theme from The Hobbit, and I'll listen to that, and I don't know, it's a very soothing kind of tune, and it helps me kind of calm down and stay focused. But I mean, other than that, like if I'm really feeling overwhelmed as far as like life goes and struggling, a retreat is really good for me. To really just to get alone and to just spend some time, with the Lord.
Would you say a church retreat, or you just
No, like a personal retreat. Yeah. So, like
I was
gonna say, I mean, you look at Scripture and you see those times where Jesus left the multitudes and he went to be alone. Like I find those times really important for me. Like I like to be around people. I like to talk. I enjoy all that. But there's those moments where I really need to get away and spend time with the Lord myself.
All right, man. So when did you stop playing guitar?
So I started playing. It was a long process. So whenever I was probably 10 or 11 years old, my mom and dad got me a guitar. It was a first act guitar, and I played it for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
And I threw a baseball in my room and broke the strings. And at that point, I didn't realize you could replace strings on guitar. So I just thought I broke it. And it sat there for probably 2 years.
Wow.
And then after youth camp, we went to student life camping at Covenant College.
Okay.
Whenever I was 13 years old, and a guy named Michael John Clement led worship at that camp. And me and my best friend, his name is Matt Jones, we both listened and we thought, well, we want to play guitar.
Obviously not the KS Bar guy, the Lexington guy.
No, different
A younger person.
Yeah. And so we went back, and my dad had tried learning guitar, and so he had this old Alvarez in his room that he had borrowed from a friend in a case, and so I took that Alvarez, and we had some computer CDs we had an old like Dell desktop, and so I put those CDs in and listened to those lessons and taught myself how to play.
All right, we got a couple questions from the chat.
All right.
Another question is, what is your favorite place to vacation?
My favorite place to vacation, I'm a mountains guy. So, I mean, if it's just a nice, calm vacation, I love going to Gatlinburg and going to the Smoky Mountains. That or Disney World. I love Disney
I know that the Ross family are big Disney World fans, like our family.
Some of the Ross family is bigger Disney fans than others.
Okay, man.
Mainly my wife and myself we're big Disney fans.
Yeah.
We just went a few months ago.
I know, man. I saw that on Facebook.
Rubbed in on us the week before and week after.
Oh, we had a good time.
We're going in March. The Heinies are.
That'll be great.
Yes,
Fortunately,
sir.
Tron will not be open yet. But.
It wasn't open when we went. I was sad, but I got to experience a lot of new things.
Okay, man.
Yeah, got to experience.
And that was your last time doing Splash Mountain, though.
Last time doing Splash Mountain, but first time doing Rise of the Resistance and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
That's good, man. Yeah.
Got another question.
All right.
Cameron Looper said, "What's your favorite gaming system, and why is it the N64?"
It's not the N64. I like the N64. Now, so whenever I was young, we were poor. And so I had an N64, but I only had like the N64 games that we bought at the yard sale when we got it. So I had Pokemon Stadium, I had GoldenEye, and I had Beetlebug Adventure Racing, which is the game I played the most on that. So I like the N64. My favorite gaming system, though, is going to be either the Super Nintendo or the GameCube. I really like the GameCube.
Okay.
It has the best Zelda games. Sorry, Cameron.
Yeah. So back on the guitar question. So what's your favorite song to play on play in your guitar?
Oh, like any guitar player, that changes constantly. So right now, I really enjoy playing "Dark Before the Dawn" by Andrew Peterson.
Okay,
That's a
man.
fun song
Yeah,
to play.
he's a music theater guy.
No, you're thinking of.
So Andrew Peterson.
Andrew Wolow.
Oh,
maybe.
you're thinking of a different. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Andrew Peterson. He does the "Behold the Lamb of God" tour.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
That's-
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You guys saw him recently, or you seen him before?
I did. Yeah, I went and saw him. We go just about every year to go see "Behold the Lamb of God."
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite Christmas traditions.
Well, that's great,
yeah,
man.
with the whole Heartland staff, or
Yeah, we go as a staff. It's a lot of fun.
yeah.
Brad's probably a bigger fan of Andrew even than I am. So
Yeah.
he hooks us up on that.
Yeah, and I think they started doing that like in 2015.
I don't know. I know.
No, I think Chris Clark did in 2015, and a few other Heartland
there's a
pastors.
good chance. There's a
Yeah,
good
I've seen that on Facebook at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got a question from the chat. It was gonna be an eventual question, but what's your favorite movie?
Oh man, that's not a fair question.
You give it a couple favorites.
One movie out of all. I love Lord of the Rings. I love all three Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah, I know you were outraged by.
You're a big fan, man.
If you don't know, I'm doing a top 250 list.
Along with myself.
And
too.
he put Return of the King way too low. It should have been top 50.
I knew as soon as I put that, I knew.
I've enjoyed your list though. I disagree with your list, but I've enjoyed it.
You enjoyed my list, Jeremiah?
I love both of your movie lists.
His is, I don't know.
But
I've
love.
never heard of most of the movies.
I love. I mean, just a few movies that I really love. I love Lord of the Rings movies. I love all Star Wars. The 4 and 5, A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, I think are the best. And then Rogue One was probably my third favorite. Wow. Revenge of the Sith is up there. I love The Godfather Part 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I love The Princess Bride
That's fine, man.
and Back to the Future.
Wow. Yeah, that's
There's more.
nice list. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah.
You've seen any John Wayne movies?
I've seen a couple John Wayne movies, but
Okay.
old western, it's not my typical genre.
Well, that's fine though. I know you like Lord of the Rings and the Harry Potter stuff and stuff like that.
I do, yeah, I do. I'm a typical youth pastor. I like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like all those things.
Yeah.
What would you say is the movie that you, besides Return of the King, you're most outraged that I put so low? Or there's one. I know it's too early on. Like what I missed out on. I'll probably ask you later on in the year. But is there another one like that's way too high or way too low?
Man, I'm trying to think of the movies you put.
That might be the only
I
one.
was gonna say you. I'm a big fan of About Time, so I probably would put that a little bit higher. But the fact that it was even in your top 250, because a lot of people haven't seen that movie,
No,
and it's a
not
good
really.
movie.
Yeah.
There were some of your Tarantino movies that maybe I could put a little bit higher.
Oh, okay.
But you know,
Yeah. You can't say that.
I'm
People
able
get,
to.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he watches R-rated movies. in
No,
his
he
free
does
time.
not. He does not.
Oh,
He
sorry.
did-
On PG-13. He goes to PG and PG-13. G.
But Return of the King should have been top 50.
Yeah. I bet once.
I'm excited to see what you have up there. Though.
Yeah.
I bet once the kids get older, you'll probably watch more R-rated movies.
I don't watch a ton.
I know you don't watch Lethal Weapon.
You know, I've seen a little bit of that, but I've never watched that whole movie.
Lethal Weapon.
One who loves Lethal Weapon as much as he does.
I know who's in it, and I've seen some of it. But
Danny Glover and Mel Gibson
I would
and
say
Joe
it's got-
Pesci.
Yeah.
They did a great job on those roles. They're doing a fifth one. It's coming out next year.
Really, they're doing a lot of old movies. I'm ready for the new Indiana Jones movie.
I know a lot of people
I
are.
don't know. I'm gonna watch it either way, but I don't know how.
Well,
good
I mean,
it's
I
gonna
don't
be.
have high hopes for it. It's kind of like the new Star Wars movies, but I mean, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, I just hope they bring back Daisy Ridley in the next year or two, but I don't see that happening because I watched The Force Awakens though, and the one from 2019 though. And
Yeah.
Those
She did
were
a
his
good job.
favorite. Those were his favorite ones. He likes those more than the original ones.
My favorite of the new ones was The Last Jedi, and that's a
Okay.
very unpopular opinion
Yeah, it
among
is.
Star Wars fans.
But Ryan Johnson, I love his Knives Out movies, but his Star Wars movie I thought was just okay.
I enjoy the Knives Out movies; those are fun.
Have you seen the new one?
I have.
Oh,
seen
yeah.
it. I didn't like it as much as the first, but I liked it.
Wow.
I thought it was
think a
fun.
lot of people have said that.
They were very close.
Yeah.
Different tone.
Yeah. I like the second one slightly better, but
He's a great filmmaker.
Yes.
I like the way he films.
still need to see Looper. I haven't seen that one yet.
That's a good one.
Okay.
So, what is one of the best or most worthwhile investments you've ever made? It could be anything. It could be money, time, energy, etc.
Anytime that I invest with my family is to me like that's the best. Whether we go and we take a trip or we just try to get out of town for the day and,
That's good.
and spend time together. That to me that's one of it's invaluable. You know, just to be able to, especially getting to watch my boys grow up and
Yeah.
to get to invest in them and watch them learn and grow and get excited over new things. I love that.
Well, that's good, man.
Yeah, like you said, you're going to Discovery Park of America Saturday, so.
Yeah, we tried to, part of our family schedule, we try to plan things out, and that's one is a family outing. So this weekend we're taking them, as long as they behave.
Yes,
They gotta
sir.
behave.
Listen,
We're taking
Elias
them.
says, right? John August, listen. You gotta
Listen
be
to your mom and dad,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, I know.
And, yeah,
person's
we'll-
watching it.
If they're good, we'll take them to Discovery Park and get to hang out, and we'll go and eat at the Grind.
I
And
love
that was
it.
just a good day to make memories and love all my kids.
I have to go just for the grind.
I've
I
never
love
been.
it.
It's my first time.
Well,
It's,
I like.
it's the
that's
best.
Pretty good. I mean, the shakes are a little overrated. They're more like Instagram pictures.
Yeah.
There's a lot more whipped cream than ice cream, but it's still good. The burgers are really good.
Yeah. Awesome.
Burgers
Yeah,
and fries
the,
are
the,
good.
grill, the grilled chicken sandwich is really good. I really love their strawberry shortcake shake. It's the best, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And,
So many
and,
choices.
and they sing the happy birthday song, and they do some singing and dancing at the Grind. So go and have a fun time.